What happens if we leave the kids alone for a few minutes? Well, a huge mess. This is something I have to clean up, but there's actually a bigger mess on the floor. Here we have paint, water, and crumbs everywhere. But the good news is I just set up the Narwal Freo Z10 Ultra, a new robot vacuum and mop that's going to help me deep clean this home in no time. Thanks to Narwal for sponsoring this video. Let's get started. I have the Z10 Ultra set up and mapped out, so now it's going to go and vacuum and mop this floor. Let's check out what we have going on. So here we have some crumbs over there. It looks like they might be crayon or something like that. Over here we do have a ton of water, and then right up here we have some paint. Now this is washable paint, so should come off pretty easy, but we're going to see how well it's going to scrub that. Here we have a bunch of wet mess with the paint mixed in to clean up, see how well it's able to pick up and handle all of that, getting it off the floor. Now it does have the AI dirt sense technology where it's going to detect if the room's clean enough and keep cleaning until it's clean. And then as you can see under the floor here, we have a ton of crumbs. That's just typical wear and tear. No matter what day it is, there's going to be crumbs on our floor, and coming in all the way to the kitchen, still more crumbs over here. So this is going to be a true deep clean test. And without hesitation, it begins. Put the mop pads down, ready to get the job done. Here it has adaptive edge, where it's going to move the edge of the mop pad out to get all the way to the edge so that it can clean every inch of your room. Halfway done cleaning the room, it's headed over to the messiest spot. Now before it does clean that area, it's going to head back to the all-in-one station to refresh the water and the mop pads. Now that it's cleaned this area, it's going back a second time to mop, and listen to how quiet this is. It's like it's barely even on. That's crazy. All right, let's take a look at the pads before they go through and are mopped. So this is after it's cleaned them, gone out a few times, mopped, and they are looking pretty gross. Picked up a lot of that paint on the floor and a lot of dirt. So now let's go send it through the cleaning cycle, check it out after. And there, after it has cleaned, there you can see all of that has been cleaned up. There was a little bit of water left over, so it already suctioned that up, but you can see those are much cleaner. It's ready to go out and finish cleaning this floor.
Task resumed.
It has now cleaned up most of the wet mess there. Now it took a few times. Now let's go ahead and see how it does with the paint. It is now doing its second pass. It cleaned the mop pad, it's going the opposite direction. Let's see how it does. It would have been nice if it came back a little sooner while it was still wet, but it does have a big floor area here to clean up. Oh, and that really helped it. So I think one more pass is going to take care of all the paint in this area. And now it has finished cleaning the area. It did miss a little bit of the paint there, but that was quite a bit to clean up. Everything else looks pretty great. Let's check out the dirty water bin. And here is the main water bin. It is now empty, so it used up all the water there, and we have tons of dirty water that we need to empty out. And taking a look from this direction, you can see it did a great job in picking up most of the floor. Just that last section that could use another cleaning, but with how much dirt was there and gunk, it did a great job for that first full cleaning. In the areas that it missed, I did one more zone cleaning, and it was able to perfectly get this floor cleaned up with all the paint gone. Great job, Z10 Ultra. Now, one of the big benefits of the Freo Z10 Ultra is the TwinAI dodge obstacle avoidance system. So on the front, it has two cameras, just like we have two eyes, it is able to see. Now, not only does it have great vision, but it also has a great brain. It has two chips being able to process all that information and can detect all the different kinds of objects to be able to avoid them without ever getting stuck. Let's take a closer look. Closer, closer. Now enhance. So here we have the TwinAI Dodge Obstacle Avoidance System. So it's using a combination of dual RGB cameras and inside dual AI chips. Now the camera is able to detect objects 5 millimeters and above in height. So it's able to plan a path around those, and it's also able to detect the difference between a dry and wet mess. So as it was doing the deep cleaning in the beginning, it was able to automatically determine when it needed to turn off the vacuuming so that it could then clean a wet mess and then turn that back on. Now, when it's using the dual AI chips, it then is able to determine a better path and analyze all that data it's getting from the camera to then create a better cleaning path to be more efficient in its cleaning abilities. Now, with the combination of those two together, it can detect 200 different household objects to be able to then navigate around them without touching them. So today we're going to do a awesome obstacle avoidance test. I'm adding a few new things I've never tried before. One of the requests I have is, what about pet droppings? Can it navigate around those? So we have a fake one today. It is not real, so it's gross, but fake. We're gonna test this out. It's gonna avoid cords, all kinds of things. Here we go. I have set a zone for it to clean some of the floor and the carpet, and here I have laid out a bunch of household items that we typically see on a daily basis. We have a sock, we have a car, a cord. We don't usually see dog mess, but there's some right there. Then we have some of these other items. So here it's starting over in the area, and when it's doing a zone, it's going to mop around that entire zone and then slowly go in, being able to avoid all these obstacles. And here the kids crane, it is able to easily move around that. So here on the top, it's using LiDAR to navigate around, and then it has a tri-laser obstacle avoidance sensor there on the side to be able to get as close as it possibly can before it continues on. And as it is mopping the floor, it has 8 newtons of pressure down onto the ground. So that's like how much you're scrubbing, it's doing that work for you. And the triangular mop pads on the back are spinning at 4,400 RPM, so it's definitely scrubbing your floor very clean. All right, first object coming up right here. Went right past it. Ooh, and it detected the car just in time to navigate around it. That's definitely needed in this house. Here it found the sock, so it's also going to make a path around it so it can keep cleaning where the objects are not. And is able to see the droppings as well as the cord over there. These are some pretty tight spaces, but it's having no problem getting around these. And there you can see how close it was able to get with the mopping around that cord. I think it is gonna do another pass there to get a little bit closer. And here's the second cord. It's able to get so close without touching that. That's been such a big problem in the past, is getting tangled in all the cords that are dangling on the floor. But now let's go ahead and see how it does on the carpet. And here as it heads over to vacuum, it does pick up the mop pads about 12 millimeters, and then it turns on suction boost. So this actually has 18,000 Pascal of suction power. So it's able to get all the dirt that's deep down in the carpet and pull it up so that it's not there for you to breathe every day. So I love how much suction power this has, and as it's going around the carpet, there you can see a little squishy. It was able to find and navigate around without any issues, and it's gonna make this floor look so clean. Now we have a lot more floor to get done, so we'll just let it keep cleaning and check out what it looks like at the end. Now back here at the all-in-one station, it is currently drying the mop pads so that there's no mildew buildup or anything like that, but there's so much that's done right here. So up here at the top, you have your dirty water tank. So there we, of course, showed you that before, that it cleans a lot and it does use quite a bit of water. So you will need to often empty that and fill that up. This does support the auto water exchange, where it can tie right into your home's drain as well as water lines, so that you don't ever have to worry about that. And here at the top, you do have some controls on the station. You have a home, a water or mopping. You can do the play and pause, you can turn on Freo, and then you have a child lock in the middle. In here, you do have your dustbin. So that's going to be a couple months where you don't have to change this out. It's automatically going to put it in here. And then you also have the floor cleaner right here, the lemon and basil scent, which is really nice. And then here you do have the robot. So if we pull this out, in here you will need to You know, not too often, but every once in a while you want to pull this out and do some extra cleaning, but doesn't take too much work there. Really nice how that's all contained there. And then you have the robot. So here you have the pads. Now these can be taken off to replace if they ever get too gross or too used. You'll see in the app where it shows when you need to do that. It's currently draining the water there. Now last I want to talk about the zero tangle system. Now this is on all the Narwal robots, but it's been pretty much perfected, and I love how this works because we have a ton of hair in the home. So first, as this is cleaning and vacuuming, it's using this side brush dual brush system to pull in all the hair. So it has one that's moving there, and it's able to pull that hair and get it into the main brush. And then with the main brush, that is able to then pull in the hair so it then moves from one side to the other. So there's going to be no hair built up on this. It pulls it all over into here where it's then suctioned in to the dustbin, and something you will never have to come and clean. So you did see a bit here, that's because it got caught on all the gunk that we've been testing out. So I'm gonna do a full cleaning on this, and then we're gonna take this to the bedroom, get a bunch of hair picked up, and see how that does. I'm actually gonna bring it upstairs to map out the new area and vacuum, as there's a lot more hair up here. And the cool thing is I can actually create a new map for a new floor so that I can just take this back and forth from the floor to then clean this area. It has now vacuumed a room. Let's check out how the zero tangling did. So there is a ton of hair up in this area. So there you can see there is no tangling on these side brushes here, and you don't see anything right here, maybe one or two hairs there, but there is nothing along here and there as it is going into the vacuum bin, which is pretty full. It does get a little bit clumped up right there, but we have it all fully in there without being stuck on the actual brush. So there you can see in there, we got a little bit of hair, everything's in there without being on the floor anymore. So it's so awesome to have that. I love the zero tangling design on the Narwal Z10 Ultra. It has now cleaned a few more rooms. Let's see what else it was able to get. So right under here, there is some hair. There you go. So that is because there's so much hair, it's all clumped up. Now I'd say if there's anything that needs to be changed on this, I would say the dustbin needs to be a little bit bigger, because I have seen this where you do get some clumped up there and it doesn't fully make it into the dustbin. Now if we go into here and check that out, good news is there's nothing on the roller, so that's always awesome. But in here you can see just with 2 rooms or 3 rooms cleaned, we have now maxed this out, so it needs to go back to the base station, and there isn't an auto empty after a few rooms to the base station. It goes back. Once you start the next cleaning, then it empties it out there. So I think there could be some improvement there, but it did pick up a ton of gunk, and now we have a clean floor. Now we just need to take the Z10 Ultra back downstairs to have it empty this out into the dustbin, and we'll be ready for our next cleaning. And we can slide the roller back on just like so and snap this back on. Now for the dustbin, it does come with an extra filter as well as a dustbin here and the dust collector for the all-in-one station, but this can be removed. Maybe you got some of this gunky, you can easily take it out, wash it while it's drying. You can put the other one on here, but we can go in here and see how much it was able to pick up. I'm surprised it was able to get these wrappers with no problem. There it had a ton of dust with that 18,000 Pascal of suction power getting really deep, and I love how it can go under some of the beds and different things like that, really get it clean. And then here we have some clumps of hair. So I'm surprised I was seeing so much at the bottom there, but if there was more room in the dustbin, I think it would have had no issue getting this in and then putting it in the all-in-one station. And that just snaps back in, and we can take it back downstairs.
Cleaning will be ended after the return. Task completed.
And here in the app, I have the option for dust collection.
Dust collection will start soon. Start dust bag drying and disinfection.
And so that is the Narwal Freo Z10 Ultra. I think this is another great addition to the Narwal family of devices. I could not believe how it was able to master that obstacle avoidance test. That's one of the main things you're gonna have problems with on other robot vacuums, is them getting stuck. They don't finish cleaning while you're gone, and then it's just going to have to be you doing that later. So being able to avoid all those things was amazing. I think this is gonna make this run so well. And then I love all the mopping capabilities that Narwal has, getting right up there to the edge. The mop pads have worked great and they last for quite a while. Now, if you do have any further questions about the Z10 Ultra, let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to pick up yours, you can check out the link in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.